with every piece of equipment or device you use, it's always more than one way to do something. And some ways may be faster than others, some ways may be better. I mean, I think hip hop right now is the biggest culture, period. What's up, YouTube? Here we are. You know who I am, and if you don't, it's your boy Ghetto.
That's real. All the way
Don't
real.
get more
realer than that. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I done seen it all. I done seen it all. I done seen it all. It's about to get real in here. Real. You know what I'm saying? I tell my story. I don't want none to tell it for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Hey man, how's it
Oh
going?
man.
Ghetto, I see you nice and clear, man.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Let me just start recording on Skype. Hey, pleasure, man.
You too, you too.
So you're in New York, yeah?
I'm actually in Ohio, Cincinnati, area, but it's
All
just
right.
New York time zone, so we ain't too far apart.
All right, in Ohio. I've been to Toronto. The closest to you where I've been is Toronto.
I only been to Canada once, and that was by accident.
Why is that?
We were up in northern Ohio, and on the way back, the person that was driving took a wrong turn and went the wrong way, and we ended up crossing the Canadian border, and they made us get out of there pretty quick, so we just turned around and came right back.
Nice one, nice one. I loved it in Toronto. I loved it. Nice city, nice city.
All right.
Did you like the questions I?
Yeah, I seen it. Yeah, you actually did your research. You did your research.
It's really look man, really pleasure to have you. Like really fantastic. Well, I keep looking in the screen. I should look in the camera so you can see me.
You good? You good? I'm kind of the same way. My camera's kind of up in the air a little bit, so you might catch me. I'm looking up, but I'm we here.
Yeah, nice one, nice one. Tell me about the American football. Can you tell me, because like I'm not familiar with it at all. Well, I know as far as the ballers with the Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but that's as much as I know about it.
It's a little more than a TV show, but football it's a rough sport. I played for a long time. You know what I'm saying? All through school and all those years. Up until I was about to graduate from high school, I played football. So, and it was also my favorite sport.
And what was the difference between National League and American League?
Well, the NFC and the AFC are all part of the NFL league right now.
All right.
When football originally started, there were two separate leagues, and then they combined them together. That was 50 something years ago. Now it's basically the NFC conference, which is the National Football Conference, and the AFC conference, which is the American Football Conference, and then they play against each other 16 games a year, and it's in the playoffs right now. So, and my team's pretty much out of it. They've been done a couple weeks ago, but I still watch it though.
So what's the team in Ohio? What's the name?
We got two teams in Ohio actually: the Cleveland Browns, who are playing right now as we speak, and the Cincinnati Bengals, who been out of it for quite some time now.
Do I disturb your game? No, you don't want to watch?
Nah. I'm not really too big on either one of those teams. It ain't a big deal to me. The majority of the people here, they big time Cincinnati Bengals fans, big time Cleveland Browns fans and stuff like that, because those are like the local football teams. But I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan for my own specific reasons, but that's the team that I like.
Did you watch The Ballers with The Rock?
It'll feel like the motherfucking Constitution of the United States of America, Joe.
No, it's more fucking important, Reggie, you fucking moron.
Jesus, calm down.
I watch it a little bit every now and then. I wasn't like a faithful watcher of the show, but I seen a few episodes though.
Reggie, listen, it's Spencer. Vernon is getting out of the fucking weed business. You hear me?
Yeah, I quite enjoy it.
Yeah, I
Especially
heard it was pretty good.
No, fuck you.
Shut the fuck up. You hear me, Reggie? You motherfucker. You're out of the fucking weed business. Fuck him.
yeah, especially surroundings like all the Florida and all this, like, you know, it was beautiful. It looks fantastic.
Wow, what the fuck? What? God damn it. Listen, I'm sorry. I thought it was my phone, okay?
It wasn't.
Okay.
Places where a lot of these teams are, like the actual vicinity for most of the teams look pretty good. And then the stadiums are beautiful if you ever get a chance to go to some. I'm pretty sure like some of the soccer teams or the football teams, what they would call them in England, are pretty nice like that also though.
And gone, great players, great coaches for the Chiefs that have not been able to taste this moment. This is picked. Kendall Fuller up to get it. And that will end this game with under a minute to go. You're 24, you're a Super Bowl champ. Kansas City's waited 50 years. Must have felt like 100 for you.
Great, it was great, man.
Worth the wait?
Absolutely, love this guy right here, man. And all those guys that came before, love you too, man. This is what it's all about. What a great team, great coaches. Appreciate every bit of it.
And let me just ask you, at age 24 to be a Super Bowl champ, you two have a unique relationship when you're down with 9 minutes to go, down 10. I mean, you again, double-digit comeback. What's magical about you guys working together?
Yeah, I mean, we never lost faith. I think that's the biggest thing. Everybody on this team, no one had their head down. And we believed in each other, and that's what we preached all year long. And we got this guy right here to get us here, and we found a way to get it in the end.
Matrix keys, V-Man, let's go. Show them how we do it. You know what it is? I don't think they're ready. They ain't ready. We back. Look, let me show you what my life like. Step into my limelight, get your mind right. 20/20 vision, I can see you in my hindsight. I'm taking off, you ain't allowed on my flight. My plight is another level up. Every step I take is another level of buttercut. Motivation, my proclamation will never cease. Why they unchain me, should've never let loose a beast. Monster on the streets, who you know producer, crush a whole beat. You can't hold me, I'm on fire like the Ghost Rider. Show me the right cash, I'll be your Ghost Rider, a dope writer. Cocaine in my pencil tip. Wrap it up, pop the plug, let the needle drip. Then lean back like Fat Joe. Nah, I'm only playing, this is just a rap show for show.
Tell me about the music, or how big the big music culture in your area is.
It's in the specific area. It's not. I mean, it's big on a more local level though. You know what I mean? We do have a few artists that made it to the national spotlight, and some bigger than that's known around the world. But we got a lot of local artists that do pretty big things locally also though. In my specific area, it's more hip hop, R&B, some jazz, stuff like that. Now, but it is cultural based too. Like we do have like a big country area where they do a lot of country music, a lot of rock and roll type of stuff. I'm not really big on those particular genres myself, but I ain't mad at people that do it. I know people that play guitars and got bands and all that stuff.
All right. So you don't play guitars, you just play synths and keyboards and...
Yeah, I don't play guitar yet. I played a saxophone for about, like, all through school, up until I was about to graduate, and we had a house fire. Unfortunately, the saxophone got burned up, and then I was never able to get another one after that. I've been thinking about getting one now that I can, but it's just a thought that crossed my mind every now and then just to get back into it.
When you go, like, I know these questions might be silly for you, but like, you know, when you go to the mall or you go to the shop, what music plays on the radio?
Elevator type music, mostly like pop music, or if it's not pop music, it'll be like classical, like Beethoven or something like that playing in the background.
All right, because I always imagine like there's hip hop playing everywhere, like, you know.
Certain stores do play stuff like that, but like in general, it's mostly like pop music, classical music, because a lot of them, they don't want to offend people depending on what they play, so they try to do the straight and narrow thing, you know what I mean?
So how big is the hip hop culture on its own now today in Ohio?
I mean, I think hip hop right now is the biggest culture, period. It used to be like country and rock and roll, but I don't think so anymore, because now, like, if you watching TV or commercials and stuff, they always playing hip hop, like in the commercials or in the movies, on the TV shows. It's pretty much everywhere now. There was a point where you wouldn't hardly ever hear hip hop outside of watching a music video on TV or on the radio. But now, like, all the commercials, like all the sporting events, all the sporting games and stuff, you hear it everywhere.
Is it beyond cities, in the rural areas as well?
Yeah, actually it is. They might not always admit it, but it's got a very wide spread right now. Hip hop is probably the biggest thing going for everybody.
Who's your favorite rapper then?
Right now, today,
Alive.
I had to
say, yeah.
and said alive. Right. Right now, my favorite is probably still T.I.
Full of that primo bad bitches drinking no Pinot and margarita bikinis in different cities. You see me.
I think he's still putting out a lot of good content.
You a bitch and think it's Serena. Look at me.
I do like some of the younger rappers too, like Corday.
Watch my moves and I'ma show you what an icon like.
He one of my favorites for the young ones that's coming up, is just getting they imprint out there.
I just been itching to prove myself. I just pray throughout the struggle I don't lose myself.
I like the Baby sometimes.
Brand new Lamborghini, top car, with a pistol on my hip like I'm a cop.
Depending on what type of songs that he putting out.
Have you ever met a real rock star?
Let me see. It's a few of them I like, then some that I just kind of steer away from. But you know what I'm saying? Everybody putting something toward the culture, so I ain't really upset at it at all. As long as they keep pushing it forward, that's all we need.
How you came to do what you do? How that started for you? The passion for music production?
Well, I always had that love for music, and that basically started like at a young age. Like when we were very small, like my mom would on a Saturday, every Saturday, like clockwork. It didn't matter what we were doing. If we heard a Kenny G album playing on the radio and Kenny G played the alto saxophone, you hear that playing, that music start playing, we know that in the next 10 seconds, she gonna come wake everybody up, make everybody start cleaning up while we listening to this Kenny G album, like for the rest of the day. That's pretty much it. That's where my love for the saxophone came from. So when I got a chance to actually try to play an instrument, I picked the saxophone, which was like natural for me. I played the saxophone all through high school. And then, like I said, I lost my saxophone, but I was still into music. And I had a cousin who, during our later years in high school, was making beats and stuff like that, and we started making hip-hop songs and rapping, and it just grew from there till it got to the point where it is right now.
Do you have your mentor where you go to learn from? Do you have your person that you go and you watch their videos, or you watch some interviews with them?
I do tend to pick up stuff from a lot of different people, and I actually watch a lot of the people that are subscribed to me that I know make content and put out videos. I actually do watch pretty much all of their stuff whenever I see it. But you can always take a little bit of inspiration or learn something from everybody, because it's always a little something different that they might do that you may not know about, or it might be something that you can use that they do. And you're like, wow, I didn't know you can do it like that. With every piece of equipment or device you use, it's always more than one way to do something. And some ways may be faster than others, some ways may be better or more efficient, you know what I mean? So you can kind of watch what they're doing and learn from it, and try to pick up as you go.
What motivates you the most to make the music? When you sit down, everything is hooked up, everything is connecting. What else that triggers you and you're going like, yeah, this is it?
Man, I feel like I got a internal radio in my head that almost never stops playing. I could be anywhere, just walking down the street, and then it's like a tune will pop up in my head and I'll start humming it, trying to remember it. If I'm not at home or if I'm here, I'll just jump up and jump right into it just to try to get it out. Because I know, like, if I'm out somewhere and it happened, I'm always trying to remember it, because by the time I get home or get somewhere where I can try to record it, I done forgot it, and I hate myself for that every time that happens.
Can you tell me now, are you one of the kind in your area in making music, like a producer, or there's more people who actually have the same passion and you can, go and jam with them and learn? And
there's definitely other people here, several other producers and beat makers, and also like a lot of local artists. So like I actually have recording sessions that I do 2 or 3 times a week with a bunch of different local artists. We get together. Sometimes they'll bring the music, sometimes I'll create some music while we're there, and then we just put the song together, record it, and then edit it down a little bit later on. But it's a process, and once you get into that circle where everybody start knowing you, then it's like a big mixing and mingling, because this artist might say, well, I know somebody that can do this and this, or they'll say, I know somebody that can do, I'm saying, and whatever it is that you can bring to the table, when they need it, they'll call you up. Once you get in there, it's a pretty good place to be, and it's like non-stop creativity a lot of times. This is the thing about music and music creation. It's hard to explain unless you actually do it. But like when you somebody that like making beats and like making music, you can't really talk about it with everybody, because a lot of people, especially when you're talking about like an MPC or a MK3 or a machine or whatever kind of device, and most people are gonna look at you like, well, what is that? What does that do? Yeah, and they're clueless. But when you talk to people who actually do music, it's like a whole new space will open up, and they'll be glad to talk about it with somebody that they know is gonna relate to what it is that they're talking about. They won't feel like they're just talking to a wall. Going to the music stores is like one of my favorite. I'm like I'm in the candy store in there. It's one of my favorite places to be. I was actually just in the Guitar Center yesterday, checking out some stuff, and I had to get some cables and stuff for the new equipment. Right now, because of like the coronavirus and what's going on, a lot of these places are understocking the stores, so you won't see a lot of the stuff. Like I didn't see an MPC in there at all yesterday, but normally you would have a plethora of everything to choose from. So it's kind of a different situation right now with the coronavirus and that situation.
Tell me about your YouTube channel. You started it 12 years ago. It's 12 years like.
Yeah, when I started though, it wasn't nothing like what it is now. I was just putting random videos on there every now and then just to do it. It really didn't have like music type videos, but it was just pretty much random stuff back then. Either from the bat on the wall. You see this thing?
Did you actually rap first, or you first start to produce the beats? What was first?
I started out full-time rapping. I wasn't producing or making beats at all. Didn't know how, none of that. Like I said, my cousin, he was the one that made all the beats. He was the producer, and it was about 6 of us, and we had a little group, and we would be writing songs before he was even finished making beats. We would just go in. As soon as he started, we was going at it. That lasted for a lot of years actually. But then he had moved to Atlanta, and when he moved to Atlanta, he wasn't like where you can just go knock on the door. Let's go, we ready to record some songs. So at that time was when I started trying to learn how to make beats for myself, which was that's been quite some time ago, 2010, 11, 12, somewhere in there. And like buying my own equipment in order to make beats and try to record songs and stuff. And it was a learning process. It took a long time to get to where I felt like my music sounded good. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely a process. But I started rapping first, and then got into the beat making as sort of like a necessity, if that makes sense.
Beat the Block Up music, will that be you with them 6 guys, or is this totally your own?
That's stuff I started on my own. I was a little bit after that, and that kind of was pretty big at one time too. We had a lot of people playing the music that we made when we first started. It kind of slowed down since then because a lot of stuff happened, but everybody's still doing music and still connected with each other for the most part though. We have a lot of songs that are like underground mixtape type songs that a lot of people like, but we can't necessarily sell it because of the copyright issues on some of the samples and stuff that we was using back then. But there are a couple of albums that we did actually put out for retail sale, and they're still available for streaming. One of them is a mixtape. Well, actually they're both kind of mixtapes or compilation album, if you will. But they're both still streaming right now, and I believe they're both on my YouTube channel somewhere down there.
So how many albums have you released over the years?
Like the underground mixtape type album, on a guess I would say maybe 10, 11, somewhere in that range. 2 or 3 that's in the public space where anybody can get to it. And then a lot of singles that are floating around all over the place. It's some singles that every time they pop up, I don't even remember that they were still out there. So it's a lot of stuff in a lot of random places. Cause like we were using thatpiff.com back in the day to put mixtapes out. We were using like so many different places, and a lot of them like the music may still be there, but I'm not even sure where all of it is right now. But it's spread out. It's spread out, definitely.
How many artists is there anyone famous on this side of the pond that will I know, or local?
Probably more local artists. I'm not sure if anyone may have had that type of reach. But we had a pretty big regional reach at Ohio, Cincinnati area, or Indiana, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, some basically around our local tri-state, quad state type area. You know what I'm saying? That was our reach at the time.
Throw some names, see if I know.
I don't know if you know none of them, but we had Young Smiley, Jizzle, The Realist, Wop Fisher, Slick Fuller, Nickel Plated. It's a lot of names I can name, and I really don't want to leave nobody out. But it's a lot of artists that we work with. I want to say somewhere like total, like people that we did songs with, not just the songs that we produced, probably maybe somewhere in the 50 range. We did a lot of music with a lot of people.
Like a music label company, how does that look? Because like I have no idea.
It's a lot of background work. But once you get everything set up that you need, it'll pretty much run smoothly, depending on how many artists that you're working with. But if you only have a few artists, it's not really that bad. You can get everything set up and running pretty quick. Just getting your paperwork in order, registering your business, getting your tax ID so that you can be allowed to actually sell music and pay your taxes on it, getting your business registered on the internet, because that's one of the things that people slip on. They may go, they may go register the business, but don't necessarily go get like the domain name for the business, so they won't have them locked down. But you kind of want to make sure you got all that stuff, your internet domain name, Twitter name, Facebook, all these different intellectual property, so that nobody else can steal that name from you before you go public with it. That way, you got everything locked down. So if somebody was to do a Google search on you, it's gonna come back to you no matter where they look or whatever they click on. So I think that's one of the biggest things that you can do, just to make sure that people can find you whether you're anywhere on the internet, and make sure it all comes back to you. Lock down all of those domain names and all of those intellectual properties, so that, like I said, anybody can get to you no matter where they at.
Under one of your videos, I've seen the music was labeled by TuneCore Publishing.
TuneCore is a distribution platform it's a digital distribution platform, really similar to like DistroKid, CD Baby, stuff like that. It's a little older because TuneCore has been around longer than some of those other ones. In some ways, it's a lot more expensive, like DistroKid at $20 a year, and you can put out unlimited music. TuneCore is $50 per album, $10 per single. but they also allow you to register your song for publishing too, that you know what I'm saying, a lot of the other places don't do. So it's pros and cons to it. It can be expensive, but once your music is out there for a while and people recognize it, play it and download it, the music will pretty much start to pay for itself and turn a profit eventually.
So tell me about the DAWs. What is the favorite program of yours that you use the most?
My favorite DAW, I think it's not real popular right now, I don't think. But it's actually Cubase Pro 11. I just upgraded to 11 not too long ago. But it's Cubase. That was the first DAW that I ever worked with. Let me back up a little bit. When we first started doing music, we were recording music analog, like on tapes, 4-track, 8-track, DAT machines and stuff like that. So everything is basically being recorded to tape, and then we have to transfer that master tape to CDs or other tapes and stuff like that to sell it out on the street or wherever we were selling it. And once we started making music on computers, Fruity Loops was still called Fruity Loops back then. It wasn't FL Studio. It was really new. Pro Tools back then was really new, and Cubase was one of the ones that was really new also. We started with the very first version of Cubase, making music on that. As it grew, I just kind of stuck with it, and it's still the main one that I use because I know it so well and been using it for so long. I do know how to use Pro Tools. I mess with FL Studio here and there. I mess with Ableton here and there. So I kind of like when new stuff come out, I tend to check out everything. The Serato Studio, I mess around with that, and that's pretty much brand new. It may not have even been out a year yet, but it's pretty new, so I mess around with that. There's a lot of different stuff that I see cropping up. I always check it out just to see what it can do, see if it can do something different, because you never know where you're gonna find that inspiration from. You might find something new that you like, you know what I mean? So you got to check it out.
Do you remember EJ?
Yeah,
that's what got me started.
That's way back.
When we talk machines now, is your favorite? Is it MPC X or One or Live?
The MPC X is my baby. I started with the MPC Live, and that was the main one that I used for a long time. And I just upgraded from the Live, and I went and got the MPC X because I just wanted to be able to have all of those buttons right there at your fingertips, and it's not as much menu diving because you got a button pretty much for everything on the MPC X. But the MPC Live, the original, is where that was actually my first MPC that I own myself. My cousin, the one I was talking about earlier that make beats, he had a MPC 2000 XL. He actually still has it and still uses it. So that's where a lot of the beats came from early on, and from there I was gonna get an MPC, but when the MPC Live came out and it had a battery and I can carry it with me wherever and make music and do all the stuff that my cousin was doing, I'm like, oh, well, that's the one I gotta get. And then that just sparked my curiosity, so I went and got the MPC X. When the MPC 1 came out, I just got it just to get it. I didn't really need it, you know what I'm saying, but I got it. I got a serious hunch that an MPC X Mark II is gonna be coming sometime real soon down the pipeline. I just got that feeling, and I'm gonna try not to get it immediately, but I don't know how that's gonna work out.
What about those synthesizers behind you?
Actually, those are this one, the one on top, is a old Radio Shack keyboard. It costed about $200 when we got it at the time. I don't think they make them no more, probably not. Most Radio Shacks are closed anyway. This keyboard has been around for a lot of years, and it was actually my cousin's keyboard at first, and he was using that with the MPC 2000 XL, but then he got a Korg Triton, so he gave me that keyboard, and I had it ever since. And I really don't even want to part with it just because it's not plugged up or nothing, but the sentimental value that it has, so I'm kind of holding on to it. The one on the bottom is a Control 49 from M Audio, and I'm kind of disappointed in that one a little bit because they pretty much abandoned it. It ain't been updated in like 4 years or something. So I'm looking around for actually another keyboard that I might want. I've been looking real hard at the Native Instruments S model keyboards, but I really want a Roland Phantom. That right there is like my dream keyboard, and I might end up with one of them sometime soon too.
That's what I'm trying to guess what to get myself. And,
yeah, that Phantom is expensive, but it is beautiful.
Is that the full black? Is it? Is that the
yeah.
one? Yeah. That's a nice piece of equipment, all right. Yeah, really nice. I think it will go perfectly behind there, like, you know. Do you have your vinyl? Do you have your record player and vinyl collection or?
No, I actually don't. I need one though. I was looking at some of those yesterday also. I don't know why I made the move to get one yet. But I definitely do need a record player so that I can sample some of those old classics. If there are some records that you can only really find if you find one of those old vinyls. But for the most part, everything is digitized now. You can find pretty much anything. It's just, the thing is, for me, because today, pretty much everything that you could think of has already been sampled. It's really hard to find something that's never been used before or something that's rarely being used. Most of the stuff that people sample has been sampled over and over and over and over again. So I try to look outside of where the normal people would go to sample stuff. Like you look up like old soul songs, more than likely all of those been sampled 38,000 times or something. I try to look in places where I think I might find something that people ain't really looking at to sample a lot.
What plugins are you using?
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff. As far as processing effects, I use a lot of Waves plugins. I got a ton of those. I use a few from Native Instruments. I got a bunch of Native Instruments plugins and sounds and stuff that I use. I think I have all of the Isotope plugins, like the Ozone Suite. I can't even think all of them. I do believe I have every single Isotope plugin. Blue Cat audio patchwork is amazing if you use it properly. You can do so much with that. If you have that and you're using the MPC in controller mode, you limited to 4 plugins on the MPC. If you need more than that and you have Blue Cat audio patchwork, you can load that up, and now you got 64 plugins that you can use inside of Blue Cat audio patchwork. 64 plus 3 more plugins that you can put in the MPC if you want. And I don't use all of them all the time, but I pick and choose with whatever I want to use at certain times. If I hear something that I feel like it can use this or that. It's always good to have a nice variety though. That way you ain't stuck into certain things that you can only do.
Where you decide to make tutorials videos?
Dr. B, great English art scholar.
How that started?
Basically, well, when I first started actually making like beat making type videos, it was just to have something to do, just to put it out there. As people started asking questions, like the more questions I would get, it would prompt me to make a video to answer the question. Like if I got a whole bunch of people asking the same question, rather than me typing the answers to 28 people, I can just make a video and basically show everybody how to do it that way. And that's pretty much how that started. I don't do every single request, but I do try to, if I get enough people asking for something, I do try to make sure that I do it so it's out there for them and anybody else that might have that same question. You know what I mean? Because it's always going to be somebody that come back and ask the same question, and you can just point them to the video and say, well, here you go, here's your answer right here. You're welcome. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. No, I appreciate you that you are here, and it's just fantastic that we can able to talk. Like I'm in Ireland, you're in States, in Ohio, and the technology now today is fantastic.
Yeah, and I definitely I definitely follow a lot of people. I check up on a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people all the time. Like I have people inboxing me on Instagram asking for help with certain stuff. I'm pretty much open. I do that like a lot, but it's like I actually enjoy helping people if they having a problem or they can't get their equipment to working right, you know what I'm saying? If I can help somebody and then it just snap together and they're like, oh, it was that easy, that's all I had. Oh man, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? It give you that feeling that, like, you know, you put your little bit of joy on the world. You know what I mean? So, and I actually enjoy that. So I do that quite often.
Nice one. So look, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you very much. That was fantastic chat. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure.
Thanks
man.
for the opportunity. It was fun. You know what I mean? Time flying by. And I know people gonna love it. They're gonna sit back and enjoy this and probably laugh the whole time and just enjoy the feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I said, probably I'm gonna cut myself out. So, you know, gonna cut myself out. But yeah, I will try to make something like that's another thing. That editing, you know, editing was one of my passions as well. I've made a full movie like in 2006. You know. I was working with the camera 2005, 2006, and then 2007 I was just sitting there and editing, you know. So, so now I want like editing, video recording, music production, and conspiracy kind of high power, kind of all that mixed into one, you know.
That sounds good. That sounds like something you can make a show out of. Hopefully it keep up, you know what I'm saying, and keep getting better.
Yeah. Thank you. We stay in touch, man.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.
I let you go. Thanks, man. All the best.
Right.
See you.
Take it easy.
Take it easy, man. Nice to meet you. Really nice.
You too.
Thanks.
All right, take it easy.
Streets is rough and easy, life ain't never been that. Look at how I live, the ghetto nigga, even 10 back. On Grove Street, in a house, roaches and rats. Niggas talking crazy in the streets, but I defended that. As the oldest, so I had to look out, obtaining scars. Mama had to work at the bar, and sometimes to eat, we had to dip in and out the penny jar. Where was daddy at? Chasing after rocks or crack. As I got older, I swore I couldn't be like that. Turned 18, popping off my first gas. Didn't sell dope, but see my niggas get on the map. I learned the game from watching, but wasn't ready to play. Had my hustle hand tight, but ain't think crime or pay. I went to school cause my belly hurt, praying that I graduated. I thank my big mama that I made it. I turned 18, acted up, now I gotta leave it home. 50 in my pocket, had to eat, so I sold stones. Homeless and hustling, two things that gotta go together. Sleeping in and out of crack houses when it's stormy weather. With one eye open and hoping that I don't gotta blow a nigga's chest open. And now my son is turning 3 years old, so I gotta try to show him that my heart ain't cold. Cause that's my nigga, part of me and half my soul. Hope we never have to take a walk down this road.